students. Welcome to the lecture series on operating systems. This is Dr. S.V. Fanikumar, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research. Operating system is one of the vital courses in the curriculum of the Computer Science and Engineering with a good weightage for GATE examination. Firstly, we are going to discuss about various applications of the operating system. Operating system is used in the design and development of various devices such as computers and laptops. The mobile operating system is used in design and development of mobile phones, tablets and Google Assistants. The embedded operating system is used in the design of point of sale machines. These point of sale machines is used in electronic commerce operations and as well as in regular shops also, big shops also. This is a Google Assistant. These digital assistants are used in the design and development of household applications and ATM machine. The usage of the operating system is extended to IoT devices also. In the current era, smart applications are being used by the human beings. In this, the operating system is used in smartphones, smart cities and smart household applications. The network operating system is used in design and development of routers and gateways. This network operating system is also used in the Windows 2003 server version and Windows 2008 server version. So client-server architecture development is possible only with the network operating system. Operating system is used to manage the computer hardware like CPU cycles, memory cycles, keyboard, mouse, printer and other computer hardware devices. Operating system used to execute various applications such as browser, Windows processor and as well as Windows media player, Facebook, whatnot, whatever the applications are being used by you, those all applications are being executed by the operating system only. Operating system is used to provide privacy and security to the user. In addition to that, the resource management is also taken care by the operating system. For example, in any of the organization, some printers will be kept in remote mode. Means the printer will be available at one particular location and that particular printer is made locally available to all the faculty or employees. Then all the employees can able to make use of that particular printer through the usage of operating system only. So operating system is used to provide optimized usage of resources. So the resource management, security and privacy will be provided by the operating system. Coming to the definition of the operating system. Operating system has wide spectrum of definitions. The base definition of the operating system is, it is an interface between the computer hardware and the user. Thereafter, let us consider this architecture. Operating system is basically meant for multi-programming based device because computer, it is an environment of the multi-program. Means multiple users can concurrently execute on the machine. When multiple users are trying to execute on the computer hardware, those users are supposed to process different kinds of the software. That those softwares includes system software and application software. This application software includes various applications and system software includes bootstrap applications and others. And these system software used to work on the computer hardware includes I/O devices, RAM, CPU, whatnot. All these hardware devices are supposed to be handled by the different software applications. Operating system is meant as an interface between the software and hardware. So the definition of the operating system is going to be described like it is a system software. What is an operating system? It is a software. Please remember this point. Operating system is a system software that is used to manage the computer hardware and also system resources in an efficient manner. So we are going to redefine the definition of the operating system as it is a system software used to manage the computer hardware and some resources in an efficient manner by providing convenient access to the user. Operating system has wide spectrum of functionalities also. Coming to the functionalities, operating system is meant to execute the user programs. As I earlier said, different kinds of the applications are there, and all these applications are expected to be executed by somebody. That somebody is a operating system. So operating system is meant to execute the user programs and applications. Thereafter, it is meant to provide convenient access to the user. What is the meaning of the convenient access? In earlier, the operating systems were described as a command line based interfaces. These CLI based operating systems and computer devices are not properly managed by the user. Due to that reason only, the computers were not widely used by the human. But in the current era, graphical user interface based devices has been established. The usage of GUI based computing devices, with this usage of GUI based devices, the usage of computers has widely increased. And further, operating system is used to manage the computer hardware in an efficient manner. As I earlier said, the requirement of the IO devices will be drastically reduced if the operating system is there. So, operating system is used to execute the user programs, and then it is used to provide convenient access to the user and used to manage the computer hardware in an efficient manner. Thereafter, operating system has three other different names. Coming to the first name, that is a resource manager. Why operating system is referred as a resource manager? Because it allocates and deallocates the resources. For example, in the process of execution, some of the process requires some resources. Whatever the resources are required for a process, all these resources will be allocated by the operating system. Once after the completion of the execution, again, all those resources are going to be deallocated by the operating system. So the allocation and deallocation are taken care by the operating system. Based on that, it is referred as resource manager. And then operating system is also called as a control program. Why it is referred as a control program? Because operating system is meant to control the execution of the different applications and also meant to control the errors which are generating during the execution of the different user applications. So it is referred as a control program. In addition to that, operating system is also meant to prevent the unauthorized access. Means by providing the security and the privacy to the user, it is meant to stop or prevent the unauthorized access over the computing devices. Further, operating system is also called as a kernel. Why it is referred as a kernel? Kernel means operating system is also called as a kernel. Means it is a continuously executing software in the computing device. So, operating system is also referred as kernel. Operating system course comprises of 5 different course outcomes. Coming to the first course outcome, student can be able to understand and classify the basic concepts of operating system. Means student can be able to understand the need of file system management, memory management, device management, and the need of process scheduling. And then student can be able to apply the concepts of process scheduling and algorithms. Process scheduling algorithms includes both uniprocess scheduling algorithms and multi-process scheduling algorithms. Likewise, process synchronization techniques. These process scheduling synchronization techniques includes both hardware and software to derive the high efficiency in the resource utilization. And further, student can be able to analyze the requirements for attempting of operating system principles. And then finally, student can be able to design various memory management schemes for a given scenario. The fifth course outcome is related to laboratory. As a part of that, student can be able to design the various operating system principles using simulation tools and as well as programming languages. Coming to the course contents of the operating system. In the first unit of the operating system, we are going to discuss about the basic introduction and the process scheduling. In the part of the introduction, we are going to discuss about what is an operating system, what are the different types of the operating system, and various structures of the operating system, what is a process, and operations on the process will be discussed. As a part of the process scheduling, we are going to discuss about both the uniprocess scheduling algorithms and as well as multi-process scheduling algorithms. In the second unit, we are going to discuss about process synchronization. In the process synchronization, we are going to discuss about critical section problem and Peterson solution. This Peterson solution is also referred as two-process solution. And then synchronization hardware and synchronization software. In the synchronization hardware and software, we are going to discuss about usage of semaphores and monitors, and then test and set. All these things are going to be discussed as a part of the synchronization hardware and software. And then we are going to discuss about the classical synchronization problems. Further, in the third unit, we are going to discuss about deadlocks. In this unit, we are going to discuss about what is a deadlock, what are the characteristics of a deadlock, how to avoid a deadlock, and how to prevent the occurrence of a deadlock, how to detect a deadlock, and then how to recover from the deadlock. All these things are going to be discussed as a part of the third unit. In the fourth unit, we are going to discuss about two things. One is memory management and secondary storage structure. As a part of the memory management, we are going to discuss about what is a paging and what are the different kinds of the page tables are there, and how to do paging, and then page replacement algorithms will be discussed. And then in the secondary storage structure, what is the disk scheduling, what are the different kinds of the disk scheduling algorithms are there, and how to do free space management. All these things will be discussed as a part of the secondary storage structure. Finally, in the fifth unit, we are going to discuss about what is a file and what are the different kinds of the file attributes are there, what are the different kinds of file operations are there, how to implement a file system structure, and how do we implement the file system implementation, directory implementation, and directory structure. All these things are going to be covered as a part of the fifth unit. Hope you will, student. It is both a theoretical course and as well as a laboratory course. So whatever the algorithms we are going to discuss in the theory course, those are going to be designed and developed during the laboratory course also. As I earlier said, according to the type, the various kinds of applications are there. The general purpose operating system is used in design and development of computers and laptops. The mobile operating system is used in design and development of Android mobile phones and tablets. The embedded operating system is used in designing of household applications, point of sale machines, and ATM machines. The usage of operating system is also held in Internet of Things also. Means IoT is used in the designing of smart homes, smart cities, and smart household applications. Operating system is also used as a networking operating system in the design and development of networking devices like gateways and routers. And this networking operating system is also used in the design and development of Windows 2003 Server Edition and Windows 2008 Server Edition. Means that wherever you need the client server based architectures, in all of them, these network operating system will be used. Coming to the types of the operating system. The first flavor is Linux. Why we are talking about the Linux? Because Linux is a free and open source software. This free and open source software is used to develop and distribute across the world as an open source software. And it is a kind of Unix operating system. There are n number of flavors are held in the Linux based operating systems like Linux, Unix, Red Hat, and Fedora. All these are different versions in the Unix operating systems. And then coming to the Microsoft Windows operating system. This Windows operating system is evolved during 1985. Windows 1.0 is the first operating system, and it is referred as MS-DOS operating system also. And then it has evolved in various kinds, and the usage of Windows has increased due to the reason of graphical user interface. Due to this graphical user interface, Windows operating system is transformed as an home and office operating system, because in our regular home devices or in our office computer systems, we are making use of Windows as an operating system. This Windows operating system is very popular in 1985 as an MS-DOS operating system. Windows XP in 2001, it is a very popular and stable version. And further, in Windows 7 is evolved during 2009, and it is widely ruled the world for more than 7 years. And then Windows 10 was evolved in the year 2015. This Windows 10 operating system is also used in mobile applications also, mobile devices also. Coming to the Apple. Apple operating system. This is very popular as Mac operating system. This Mac operating system runs on Apple devices such as Apple laptops and desktops. And it is a successor of very popular operating system called OS X. And then operating system of Apple is termed as iOS, and which is used in the designing of Apple based smartphones, very popular as iPhones. It works on Apple hardware and used to manage the iPods and tablets. Popular operating systems are, as I earlier said, Mac operating system and iOS operating system. This iOS operating system is used in the mobile phones, and this Mac operating system is used in the laptops and the desktops. Coming to the Android, as I earlier said, this Android operating system is a very popular and stable operating system meant for touch devices. In our mobile phones, we are having the touch screen based mobile operating system. So, the usage of Android has extended during the usage of touchscreen based mobile phones. This Android operating system is also a flavor of Linux operating system. So Android is a popular operating system and it is a flavor of Linux operating system used to handle touchscreen based devices. There are the very popular versions like Jelly Bean is one of the popular version, and then KitKat is also a stable version. And currently we are going to get Android 10. Currently most of the devices are holding Pie, Android Pie. It is Android 9.0. Coming to the evolution of the operating systems. In late 1950s, the operating system is termed as a serial processing operating system. This serial processing operating system is referred as uniprogramming based operating system. What is meant by uniprogramming? Only one single application will continuously execute in the computer. That is referred as a uniprogramming operating system. Those are also referred as serial processing based operating systems. These were evolved during 1950s. Further, batch processing based operating systems were evolved. These batch processing operating systems are referred as basic multiprogramming based operating systems. And then multiprogramming based operating systems were evolved during late 1970s. And then time sharing machines were introduced in the same 1970s, and these time sharing machines are also called as multitasking devices. And then parallel and distributed operating systems were introduced during the 1980s. Coming to the OS services. These OS services are also referred as OS functionalities. OS is meant to do various kind of the tasks such as memory management, means allocation of the memory and deallocation of the memory, and also handling of the main memory and the secondary storage memory. All these things are being done by the operating system. And then device management means it serves as a resource manager. As I earlier said, means whenever the process requires the IO devices, those devices are going to be allocated, and after the completion, again those resources are going to be deallocated by the operating system. Is referred as a device management. And then operating system is meant to do process management, means execution of the process will be taken care by the operating system itself. And then security error control is also taken care by the operating system. Further, job accounting, how many of the process have executed and how much of CPU cycles are required for the execution of each process, and all these job things are related things will be taken care by the operating system. And then file management, the file related things and file allocation, deallocation and removal of the files, directory management, all these things are going to be taken care by the operating system. And finally, operating system is meant to coordinate the user and hardware. This is the vital responsibility of the operating system. So students, up to now we have discussed about what is an operating system and what are the different kinds of applications of the operating system, and then what is the basic definition of the operating system, evolution of the operating system, and the course outcomes and operating system functionalities were discussed so far. So students, what is an operating system? Operating system is an interface between the computer hardware and user. Operating system is a system software. Please remind that operating system is not a hardware, it is a system software used to manage the execution of the computer applications and used to manage the computer hardware and used to provide convenient access to the user. So operating system have three different names. What are those three names? One is resource manager. Why operating system is referred as a resource manager? Because it do allocates and deallocates the resources whenever required. Operating system is also referred as control program because it controls the execution of the user applications. And then operating system is used to avoid the fraudulent access also. And then what is the other name of the operating system? Operating system is also called as a kernel. Why it is referred as a kernel? Because it is continuously executing in the computer. So it is also called as a kernel. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about various types of the operating systems. Operating system, as I earlier said, during the evolution of the operating system, started from 1950 as a serial operating system and then batch operating system. Batch operating system is very popular, and the other operating system is a time sharing operating system. This time sharing operating system is also referred as multitasking based operating system. And then distributed operating system. These distributed operating systems is also referred as simply distributed systems. And then network operating system. These network operating systems are used in the design and development of client server based architectures like Windows 2003, Windows 2008 and real-time operating systems. This real-time operating system is used in our regular day-to-day life. In our real-time operating system is used in design and development of various devices which are being used in our day-to-day life. Coming to the batch operating system. Batch operating system is also referred as multi-programming based operating system. What is a multi-programming based operating system? In the earlier scenario, operating system is meant as a uniprogramming based operating system. Means only one single user can able to access the computer. Means all other time the usage of the computer will be kept as idle. So to have the high efficiency over the computer, operating system was evolved as multi-programming based operating system. This multi-programming based operating system is also referred as batch operating system. In the case of the batch operating system, the user could not able to directly interact with the system. User can able to interact with the system using other devices. Okay, and then a single user could not able to keep the system efficiently and runs the device at all the times. So multiple users are expected to make use of the computer concurrently. And then multi-programming organizes the jobs using job scheduling to keep the one process to execute at least. Means CPU should not be kept as idle in the case of the multi-programming operating systems. And then a subset of total jobs were kept available in the memory. Means memory in the main memory could not able to keep all the process together. So only a small set of process are kept in the memory. And then when the operating system is identified that the CPU was idle, then it allocates one of the process to execute. So the process allocation will be taken care by the operating system in the case of the batch operating system. And then to speed up the execution, the process with the similar needs will be batched together and executes. Okay, punch card based execution is one of the sample scenario of batch operating systems. And then we are going to discuss about time sharing operating systems. These time sharing operating systems are referred as logical extension. It is a logical extension in which CPU will be switched among various processes. It is also called as a context switching. We will discuss very detailed about the context switching in my later classes. So wherever if the CPU has been identified, which is used to switch among various processes logically to execute all the processes to keep our system as running, means to have the high CPU utilization. It identifies the process at every instant of the time and use it to provide the environment as interactive. Means whenever user interaction is needed, that user interaction will be provided by the operating system itself. These time sharing machines are also called as multitasking operating systems. Please remind this important point. And then coming to the important thing, response time. What is the response time? For example, a process has submitted into the main memory and it is ready to execute. but the CPU is not yet available. Then the process is supposed to wait for a long time. In this scenario, CPU process is waiting for the CPU. Means the response time is minimum. Okay, so if the response time is high, then the efficiency will not be good. So you are expected to have the response time as lower in the case of the time sharing machines. And then each user has at least one program to execute. Means every time CPU will not be kept as idle. At least one program will be kept in the main memory to execute. Due to that reason, CPU will be busy at any instant of the time. If more number of the processes are ready to execute, then CPU scheduling will be followed in the identification of the process to execute. Further, if processes are not fitting into the memory, then swapping will be followed. Swapping means if the process is required to execute, then it should be brought into the main memory. Then it is referred as swap in. After the completion of the execution, again the process is going to swap out of the main memory. Swap in and swap out is referred as swapping. So if the process is required to execute, first of all it should be brought into the main memory, and after the execution it should brought out of the main memory, because our hard disk may comprises of 500 GB, but our RAM comprises of only 4 GB or 8 GB. Means whatever the content we are having in our digital hard disk, that could not be possible to be kept into the RAM. So whenever it is required, then only the particular process will be brought into the memory by making use of the swapping concept. And then the execution will be speed up by making use of the virtual memory. All these things are related to the time sharing operating system. As I earlier said, this time sharing operating system is also referred as multitasking operating system. And then we are going to discuss about the distributed operating system. This distributed operating system is related to multiple central processors. Means so many of the processors are there. All of them are supposed to share the information, and those are highly used in the generation of real-time applications. And these applications are expected to be executed by the multiple number of the users. Here, all the processes can communicate with each other through a channel that is called communication channel. If all the processes have been interlinked or communicates through a link or a communication link, then all of them are going to be referred like loosely coupled systems. What is meant by loosely coupled systems? They are well connected together to share the information, and as well as they can able to exchange the devices also in the case of the distributed operating systems. And then processes which have been interlinked together and varying in the size and function, then those are going to be referred as sites, nodes and etc. In the distributed operating system, every system is referred as a node or a computer, or it is also referred as a site because it makes use of data to store in it. So it is referred as a site. And then high efficiency is one of the best advantage with the distributed operating system, and used to provide best service to the customers, because in the regular machines the machine may get shut down. But in the case of the distributed operating system, at least one node or one computer will execute at any instant of the time. So reliability and consistency will be high in the case of the distributed operating system when compared with the other operating systems. Coming to the network operating system. In the network operating system runs on a server machine and gives the capability of the server to create various users, groups and execute the applications. And the basic purpose of the network operating system is allowed to share the files among the users, and also use it to provide usage of IO devices across the different users through the networking also. And then the best example is, for example, a network printer is there and which is located at one particular location. So many of the users have interlinked with that particular printer. Now, the printer is being used by all the users. How it is possible? Because the network operating system is managing the hardware and providing the services to the various users. This is the good example of the network operating system. As I earlier said, compared to the distributed operating system, this networking operating system is highly stable and secure. In the case of the distributed operating system, we are depending upon the communication channel. But here, there is no question of that problem. So security and stability are very high in the case of the networking operating system when compared to the distributed operating system. And in addition to that, incrementation is very much easy in the case of the network operating system. Adding of different hardware and adding of different software is very easy in the case of the networking operating system when compared to the other operating systems. And remote access is made possible in the case of the networking operating system. Now, let us talk about the real-time operating system. In the case of the real-time operating system, the response time is the criteria. Means the user has given some input and we need to process it and then we need to give some output. The entire expectation is expected to carry in a fraction of seconds. Then only it is referred as a real-time application. These real-time applications are used in our household experimentations and scientific applications and military applications. Coming to that, the time taken by the system to respond means, as I earlier said, which is required to take some input and need to process it and then need to give the output to the user. The entire process is expected to be carried in a short amount of the time. So the response time is a criteria in the case of the real-time operating systems. Real-time operating system has one criteria. What it is? A response time. And it is expected to be very minimum in the case of the real-time operating systems. And these real-time operating system is meant on the requirements of the time. Reset time. Reset time in the sense, within the 1 second of the time, the expectation or the process is expected to be completed. Otherwise, it is going to be useless. Means in the real-time operating system, all the services and all the functionalities are highly rigid. Means it is expected to be completed within the short interval of the time. For example, if you are performing some network banking, in the case of the network banking, you are expected to receive an SMS. But that SMS will be active for only 3 minutes. After completion of the 3 minutes, even if you have received that SMS, it is going to be useless. So, it is one of the scenario where the time rigid intervals are followed. Thereafter, as I earlier said, it is having well-defined and fixed time constraints and used to follow. Otherwise, the system will fail, as I earlier said. And then it is used in scientific experiments like our robotic applications and as well as rocket science. In all these things, we are following and the medical imaging systems. In all these things, we are following the real-time operating systems. Okay, students, hope you have understood the types of the operating systems. Coming to the batch operating system. User could not able to directly interact with the computer. Using of punching cards, they can able to interact with the computer. And then different kinds of the applications which are having a similar kind of requirements, those will be grouped together and execute concurrently. So, multi-programming is referred as an example of batch operating systems. And then, coming to the time-sharing operating systems. These time-sharing operating systems is referred as multitasking operating systems. Here, the response time is expected to be very small and then CPU scheduling, swapping, like of things will be followed in the case of the time-sharing machines. And then we also discussed about the distributed operating systems. These distributed operating systems are also referred as distributed systems. In this, different communication channels will exchange the information by making use of a physical channel as a link. And those are referred as sites, computers and nodes. And then, network operating system. In the network operating system, it is referred as a client-server based architecture. Here, it is Windows operating system like Windows 2003 version and Windows 2008 version are examples of the networking operating system. And finally, real-time operating system. In the case of the real-time operating system, the response time is a criteria. Means the amount of time taken for the consideration of the input and processing of the output and displaying of the output. And all these things are expected to be carried in a rigid interval of the time only. So, the real-time operating system is highly used in medical imaging applications, scientific applications and robotics. Thank you, students.